feel like songs kind of start as thoughts or maybe more as feelings. You know, like I never know, I never know what I'm doing. I never have a plan. I never think, oh, I need a song about this or a song about that. It's like I'll sit down, and sometimes you don't even really know what the feeling is, but you get like a sense of the essence of it. It's always just such a kind of abstract thing, but then it's very different live. I feel like that's what I love about the band. It's like as beautiful as I could possibly make something on my own, it could just never compare to what these beautiful boys bring to it, you know. It's like, and not just because of them, and not just because they're incredible musicians who are like really connected to the spirit of music, but it's more just that live music is such an untamable, mutable thing. It's like there's just such a deeper spectrum. And yeah, I think maybe the song is about something particular, but then on stage in that moment where it's being played that day, where you've experienced all the things you might have been experiencing that day in that moment, or whatever is coloring that experience, that comes out, that is expressed through you in that moment when you're playing live. It's like alchemy. You're sort of turning the stuff that's swirling around you and inside you into music, and you're just using the song as a basic structure for it. Yeah, it's like I just feel like the songs are different every time we play them, and you kind of just have to try and let the music speak through you, and they do that beautifully, like effortlessly sometimes. I think it's just important to be engaging with your feelings. Men are taught to suppress their emotions, I think. I think music is a really healthy way of engaging with your feelings, and that feels heightened for me when I'm engaging with other musicians too. I guess it's just that expression, or even just as a listener of music, it just brings me closer to whatever you want to call it, that thing that's higher than yourself. That's how we're following our bliss, you know? It's a way that we can transmute our feelings into something much more beautiful, and the self-expression and just action of the music is just like an amazing feeling.
There's this amazing interview with John Cleese. I think I spoke to you about it during the album even on creativity. He does this whole like lecture. It must have been in the 80s, just on creativity. Kind of the overarching thing is he says you can't be creative unless you're a child. So whenever you're trying to get into a creative space, you just have to treat it as if you were a child. And I guess part of that is like acknowledging that you don't know anything about what to do, and it doesn't matter. Like, it's just kind of looking at it like that. I have to admit, I feel like all of that kind of thought process has taught me a lot, and I feel like it's something you kind of go through once and learn, and now like every day is trying to be creative in various ways, and it's all those little methodologies we've built up of like knowing exactly when to stop working on something. That's the most important thing. It was knowing when you're stuck in a loop or a cycle or like a downward plug hole, and it's like, right, pee, walk, like come back in 2 hours, watch something shit, like play some cards, and then you'll just get all that 4 hours of work of the time you've been away done in 15 minutes, and it's just knowing when that is, rather than being like, oh, we have to do it, like we have to just keep on, you need to power through. Like, it's not a marathon. It's just how it goes now and again, and it's just like it doesn't make you feel very good, but it's just having to really come to terms with the fact that if creativity doesn't work one day, like it's not a reflection on you being creative or not. Like the whole nature of it is that it doesn't work the whole time, and just really leaving it at the door when you leave, and being at peace with it, and like having the rest of your day as a normal thing. Don't let it snowball into this big block. It was the first time me and you were trying to see a project through of that length. And I don't think...
And together as well.
Yeah, I don't think I'd really ever thought about just how long an album is. And just how much work it takes, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, I think we both just had to work out the mechanisms of dealing with that stuff, because just like everyone before us has done, and like after us will, but it's a different moment from, oh man, this is like really fun, these tunes I made when no one knew me did well, and like I'm riding off that to this thing of like, fuck Jay, like people are expecting an album now, and you've got to get 12 tunes together and time's ticking. Like it's a whole different headspace for anyone.
Yeah. So
I think it was just it was a bloody good process to go through.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's stressed as fuck. I mean, we like hanging out with each other first and foremost.
Yeah.
Which actually isn't where it's. I mean, we started with music first and then became friends. But for sure.
What, you and me?
Yeah. Like we didn't know each other before. You asked me.
Yeah, I knew Ellis for a long time, but yeah, I feel like when I met you, it was music first. It was like we connected there first, and then we kind of became friends by accident.
I think it's a really nice balance of, well, one, just like people, everyone's just like the best, you know. I think that comes first and foremost before like ability or anything like that. It's more like if we get on with each other, I think that makes a big difference. That you can go from just being like, well, I guess we started, me and you were friends for years, but then yeah, obviously it started off as that thing where Cam came in and I met Harvey coming into this project, didn't I? It's just, I guess, a compliment to everyone that their music ability is like, kind of transcends that, you know? I feel like I can be myself on the drums when I'm playing with you guys, you know? It's like a state of like comfort, I guess, but at the same time, I feel like everyone pushes me to be better as well. I feel like playing with you guys the last couple of years has like brought me a long way, you know, even just listening. I think it's an important one, is really listening to how someone's playing a phrase and the feel of it and the space, you know, is always a really important thing in your music as well. It's not about playing the fastest, best feel because there's a space to.
Just kind of serving this
serving a song, yeah, exactly. Serving the song. I feel like it does get heavier when we jam. I feel like our inner demons get let out.
Yeah.
Cam puts on the old sub pedals and it's good, you know. Yeah, I feel like I try and, because in a sense your show is very improvised, but within boundaries, if that makes sense, you know. Like there is space to be yourself, but again, like we were saying earlier, you do have to serve the song and not get in the way of other parts, or maybe accentuate, because we've done the show like, you know, however many times on tour. By the 20th show, you're like, I know Cam's gonna play that exactly at that spot, just because like he's been doing that every night for the last week. So like it's like, oh, I might have a little chance to accentuate, play something different, and that's kind of the joy of playing live, I guess. Like, sometimes it comes off and sometimes it doesn't. But you know, I feel like a lot of your songs kind of come a long way from their like original versions, because we played them so many times live. We get to experiment with like what feels right, what sounds right. And I think that's a nice way to work. But at the same time, on the other hand of that, the way In Praise of Shadows came about was really you in your bedroom. But I guess you always give me a lot to play with, and the freedom to play, I guess, because obviously you're a drummer first hand.
Right.
So I think we probably think alike a lot more, say someone else writing parts for me, for example, you know.
I think that's the vibe in the band. You know, everyone has their thing. You know, I think like, you know, the way Ellis plays drums, like everyone contributes in such a way, you know, because Ellis is like a really tidy fucking player. Like he's gritty and raw, but he's not a Let's Play a 60s Ludwig and like, you know, which is a brilliant thing that I love the sound of, but he plays like quite a modern, very like attentive way. And throwing that in the mix is like such a spin out in such a good way. Do you know what I mean? Like the definition that he creates on the drums is often something that, like, alright, so you know when, like often when we're doing like a Puma thing, it's like, oh, you're probably going to want like lo-fi drums, and like, he doesn't come from that place. He comes from like, you know, you can tell he's really into electronic music and quite a lot of like ambient drum and bass and like the Richard Spaven thing and like hip hop, and he just cracks, but he's very attentive player. You know, it's the same with Harvey. You know, Harvey's just got like you know, there's the orchestral thing, the like classical thing, but it's
like he almost like channels this like Debussy energy sometimes, and this like Bill Evans thing, this real inwards thing. I think we all do at times. I think that, and that's kind of coming back to what I was saying earlier about vulnerability. We all look inwards quite heavily sometimes when we perform, you know, and we all pull some shit out, you know. And I feel the thing about playing live with Puma is there's so many moments, there's so many different sound worlds all attached by a thread. You know, there's so many different moods in there, but they all relate heavily, you know. And I think that's such a beautiful feeling, because you really go through quite a lot of emotions. Like, I really feel quite emotionally attached to the music, you know. And I think sometimes when playing it, it really takes it out of me, because I often feel like, you know, I may even be like reliving past experiences, because sometimes it's so tender and it goes to such a vulnerable place that, like, it invariably makes me feel quite vulnerable, almost like I'm opening up, you know, kind of with it. And I can see that same reaction happening to the audience, and then that kind of brings it back tenfold. It's amazing. It's cathartic. It's cathartic, you know. It's a beautiful thing. It really is, because it's like, yeah, you feel quite overwhelmed afterwards, but in a really good way. And I think we usually sculpt the set in a way that has some bigger numbers at the end, you know. But like, if we end with only trying to tell you, like, I'm done, I'm just like, oh my god, like, emotionally I'm just really trying to convey how I'm feeling as best I can as well. And, you know, with that, like, you just, you know, we've all experienced bad emotional places and good emotional places, and I think, or just I guess bad or good isn't really what I'm saying. I guess more just like tender and vulnerable places. And I think at times in the set, sometimes those really come out. You know, like if we're playing Want Me, or playing Only Trying, or playing Velvet Leaves or something, you know, it's really like, whoa, I feel just really connected to it, and I really, yeah, it can be tough, and it can be therapeutic. Yeah.